Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video. Well, you may be wondering, Outlaw, is this going to be an archery video? And the answer is yes. I am trying to diversify my content a little more just away from swords and such. And figured since I have them, why not do archery? Now, today I'm going to be showing you the thumb draw method. Now, I am not an expert at the thumb draw. There are much more qualified YouTubers than me for you to learn from. New Sensei, Historical Archery, Lars Anderson. People like these who are just much more experienced and much better shots than I. But I'm going to show you at least a crude version of it. Now you may be wondering, Outlaw, why are you putting on a leather glove to shoot a bow? Well, this type of bow, when the arrow is fired, and I found this out through painful means, these fletchings will skate across your finger. And it won't necessarily cut you, but it doesn't feel very pleasant either. Sorry, I'm dealing with allergies. Now, the difference between thumb draw and Mediterranean style draw, which you know is the kind you've seen like Robin Hood do, 3 fingers, 2 underneath, 1 underneath, or Olympic style where you put all 3 fingers underneath, is you actually draw with your thumb. Hence this leather thumb ring that I have on. The other key difference is in arrow placement on the bow. With Mediterranean, you put the arrow on your left side. If you're right-handed, it'd be on your right side, I suppose. Basically, you put the arrow on the same side as your knuckles. Draw and fire. With thumb draw, the arrow actually sits on the right side of the bow where the thumb is. And this is because if it was on this side of the bow, when you draw, your index finger would push the arrow off to the side. Now, before anyone says that, oh yes, Outlaw, this is the traditional method for shooting this type of bow, they did both, okay? But yeah, what you do is you basically hold it in a pinch grip like this, and you draw back. I don't know if you're supposed to wrap your thumb completely around or not. That's why I said there's a lot more adequate teachers than me for you to learn this technique from. But I'm just going to show you very rudimentary. Now, this may look, like I said before in my previous video, this distance is deceiving. This is about 5 yards. The reason I'm this close is simply because at this distance it's almost nearly impossible for me to miss, since I don't regularly do thumb draws. See what I mean? Now, granted, probably shouldn't be using a 60-pound bow if I've never done thumb draws before, but this is the only bow I have that I can thumb draw with. If you're going to learn thumb draws, start out at like even if you have those snobs at your local range, like, oh, you're shooting 20 pounds, that's not anything. Yeah, they're the ones that are shooting the 100-pound bows. Yeah, you guys are using 3 fingers. I'm using my thumb mostly. So even if you have those archery snobs at your local range, don't be afraid to use a weaker pound bow than you normally do, especially if you're just learning these new draw styles. Because if we wait just a moment, if I am to take the thumb draw off, just put, plain old leather glove on. Good old, and these are work gloves, honestly. Not even archery gloves. And just, Mediterranean style it. You can see that I can pull far more weight with my 3 fingers than with my thumb. I can also be far more accurate this way. Than when I was doing the thumb draw method. So honestly, with this glove on, let's just see if there's any difference. Oh, there's a bit of a difference with this glove on, since I was kind of holding the arrow in the fold of my thumb instead of just pulling back using the leather. But as we can see, there is a stark difference between the Mediterranean draw one is used to and the thumb draw, which I am not used to. And like I said, you really can't thumb draw this way because your thumb will always push the arrow off the bow. The arrow has to be basically loaded on either your index finger or you're resting on the meat of your thumb in order to draw the bow back properly. There are also other styles of drawing these bows back. There's actually 2-finger style, which honestly I feel 2-finger gives you just a little more accuracy than the Mediterranean, simply because you have one less finger being in contact with the string. The less physical contact you have with the bowstring, the more accurate the shot. And that's why modern compound bows and such have the D-loop on it. Now, before anyone says anything, you can install a D-loop on these. They do make bow releases that are strong enough to pull these things back. But honestly, I feel that kind of defeats the purpose of shooting these kinds of bows. Holy fuck. I really am more accurate two finger. I'm going to actually have to test. Let me just test this accuracy thing. Okay. So I'm going to back up to about 20 yards. And hopefully I don't lose my arrow. I'm going to be aiming right in that general area where it says fragile. If this works, I may just start wearing leather work gloves when I shoot my bow. Alright, this is about 20 yards. Wind's coming in from the right. I'm going to aim a little into it. Okay, so I did not aim enough into the wind to kind of counteract it. There's a funny thing about archery is that when you fire an arrow where I was, I have all this foliage that was blocking the wind where I was standing. And then my arrow just I aimed directly at the fragile thing. And then when the wind came, it knocked the arrow over to the left because the wind was coming in from the right. That's the tricky thing about archery. Is that the slower your arrow is traveling, the more affected by the wind it is. The faster your arrow flies, the less affected by the wind it is. Because it has less time between point A and point B to be affected by the conditions to which it's traveling through. So even though I aimed right about here, because this isn't a very fast bow by any means, it actually caused the arrow to move over. Damn, it's stuck in there good. There's one thing about these homemade backstops. Sometimes they'll really suck the arrow in when you fire at them. Until next time, my noble band of outlaws, outlaw samurai, tells all y'all be crazy rednecks. Be safe and use your weapons. I'm out. Peace. And I hope you enjoy the archery content.